Hey guys, my name is Logan Whitmer. I'm assistant editor here at Woodsmith Magazine. One of the things I love about old houses is the character that they have. You can just walking through an old house, you can see the type of craftsmanship and the subtle details that really make houses like that special. One of the details that I really like are something called rosette blocks. And rosettes were a piece of decoration that were included around door casings and window frames. What it does is it takes away the miter joint in the corner of the windows or the doors and replaces it with a decorative block. One of the cool things is a lot of manufacturers today, or a lot of hardware stores, carry rosette blocks. However, they're not always in the style that you like or in the material that you need. But that's not to fear. There are a lot of manufacturers today that make rosette cutters that you can use to make rosette blocks at home. Let me show you what I mean. The rosette cutter that I have here is from Infinity Tools. This is a 2-inch cutter with a 1/2-inch shank. This one happens to be the RCH004. And this is designed to cut a 2-inch rosette in a drill press. And this is super important. We want to use this in a drill press. Unlike a standard bit that has a center point that the bit spins around that you can use in a hand drill, this does not. It's going to first engage these cutting heads that are lowest, and as you cut the profile, it's going to engage the rest of the bit. So you don't want to use this in a hand drill. But that's not to fear. A little drill press like this is great for any homeowner to have, especially if you're renovating an old house. They come in super handy. They're fairly portable. They're still about 50 or 60 pounds, but that weight's great when you're using them, and they're nice and steady. In addition, some of them have cool features like a laser, gives you center point, and they're variable speed. You can change the belt locations to get different speeds. For a rosette cutter like this, we want a fairly low speed, so I'm set on the second slowest speed that I can get. And cutting the rosettes is pretty simple. I'm going to start with the stock that I need. In this case, I have cherry. And this is about 3 inches wide. It's slightly wider than my window casing that I would install these into. I've laid out a block on each end. Now this is important. We want to make sure that we're laying these out on a piece of stock that is longer than our final rosette block. We need to have room to get a couple clamps on here to hold this down while we're making the rosette. After I cut rosette on both ends, I'm going to go ahead and go over to the table saw and cut those to size. But before we do that, we need to cut those. So on my fence, I've installed a auxiliary table, and I have a fence on here. This fence is just clamped in place, but that gives me a good point of registration. So I know as I cut multiple rosettes, the rosette's going to end up in the same spot on each one. So let's get this positioned and show you how we make this cut. So I'm going to line up the center of my rosette block there. I'm going to get a couple clamps on this side. Let's see if we can sneak one more on there. Okay. And I'm going to hold over here while I'm making this cut. We just want to make sure our hands stay away from the cutter, and we want to make sure that we're not going to interfere with our other hand that's going to be feeding the bit. So with everything locked down, we can go and make this cut. But safety first, make sure we're wearing safety glasses. And as we make this cut, we're going to go slow. We want the cutters to cut. We don't want to force the bit to go into the wood faster than it needs to. And as we're making this cut, you'll see that the pattern is formed and the profile is formed. We're going to wait until we get a smooth transition over the whole rosette. There we go. There's the first rosette formed, and let's switch this over and cut the other one. And there we go. 2 perfectly formed rosettes. Let's head over to the table saw and cut them apart. So there we go. There's 2 rosettes that are ready for a little sanding and ready to be installed. So whether you are renovating an old house or renovating a new old house, with a few simple tools that every homeowner should have, you can create custom details like this to add to your home. Once again, I'd like to thank Infinity Tools for supplying our Rosette Cutter. There are many different profiles on the Infinity website to choose from, so go check them out for that custom detail for your home. We'll be doing more videos like this for our friends over at Old House Journal, so make sure to keep an eye out for those upcoming. Thanks for watching.